viewers, and welcome to episode 112 of the Nigerian Football Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Oke, and today we've got another bumper episode for your listening pleasure. Of course, it's been a very amazing week for Nigerian football, as last week Ademola Lookman was crowned the African Footballer of the Year, and let's just say that our players have continued to just show why Nigeria are one of the leading nations when it comes to football, with performances from all our superstars all over Europe and the likes. So without any further ado, let's get into it, starting with the Premier League as usual. So, starting with Nottingham Forest and Ola Aina and Taiwo. Nottingham Forest continue to soar high. At the moment, they're now the fourth best team in the Premier League based on the rankings after 17 games played. Yes, you heard that correctly. Nottingham Forest, who were in a relegation battle last year, are currently fourth. They've won the same number of games as Arsenal, and Ola Aina continues to flourish. He scored his second goal of the season, and what a great goal it was. I mean, the awareness to just slot the ball into the net with his right foot straight to the bottom left of the post was really, really lovely to see. As for his counterpart, Taiwo, I mean, you can't really begrudge him at the moment because Taiwo came on in stoppage time. But when you have a winning team and a well-oiled machine doing so well, can you really begrudge Nuno Espirito Santo for changing things up? Or not changing things up, you know. Chris Wood is doing what needs to be done, even though he's not scoring as frequently as he was earlier in the season. But as for Ola Aina, right now, I'll repeat it again. If I have to do propaganda, so be it. If today the Premier League season ended, Ola Aina is in the team of the season. In fact, listening to a few podcasts, I'm now hearing on, the likes of Ilenikhena and co talk about how Ola Aina has really been a standout performer this season and should be in the team of the season. So Ola Aina, keep shining, man. I know I joke that Nigeria's like Johnny Bravo, but if you have a right back who's in the team of the season in the Premier League and goes to the Champions League, boy oh boy, that means that our defense is almost going to be able to match our attack. So long may it continue and keep flourishing. Next up for them, they play Bommy Tottenham. I mean, you all watched the Tottenham-Liverpool game and how many goals Tottenham drank the other day. So Tottenham are going to Nottingham Forest's stadium. So, to be honest with you, I'd expect Nottingham Forest to win this game based on their current performances. Nuno has that machine working so well. And this game will be on Thursday on Boxing Day. The one good thing about, or one of the best things about the Premier League is when all the other leagues go on their breaks, Premier League say, you know what, we got you football fans. We're going to give you a feast of football to watch all throughout the Christmas period going on to the new year. So watch out for that. So they play Tottenham at home on Thursday, on Boxing Day. And then on Sunday, which will be the 29th of December, they go away to play at Everton's side, who have kept 5 clean sheets in their last 6 games. So that's going to be a very, very tricky tie. But long may Nottingham Forest's great performances continue. As for Iwobi and Fulham, and Calvin Bassey, why did I say that? They continue to do pretty good, to be fair, when you consider Fulham's expectations at the start of the season. They're currently 9th in the league. Both Calvin Bassey and Iwobi played 90 minutes on Saturday as they drew 0-0 against Southampton. Sorry, it was a Sunday kickoff. While a draw is good, and we saw a clean sheet from Calvin Bassey, any team in the Premier League that draws a game against Southampton, you have to consider that a failure right now. So I'm sure the boys will be slightly disappointed about that result. But nevertheless, still a good outing. And I keep on saying it. One of the things that really impresses me about Iwobi is he's clearly Fulham's star player at this point in time. And you can see him growing into, yes, he's 27, 28, but he continues to grow into becoming a better footballer. And that's all you can ask from a player at this stage of his career. So keep on doing your thing, Alex and Calvin. Next up for them, they play Chelsea at Stamford Bridge on Boxing Day. Oh my, I'm actually looking forward to this tie. It's going to be a very good West London derby. These are the two teams that play in West London. And don't be surprised if Fulham get points from this game. But we have to respect Chelsea and give them their due based on how they're performing so far this season. And, let's see how it goes. But we're always rooting for the Nigerian players, except if they're playing against our clubs. Even then, I'm still rooting for them, but I hope their team loses. So fingers crossed for Thursday at Stamford Bridge. After that, we'll see Fulham play Bournemouth. Bournemouth are also flying high. They're currently 5th in the Premier League. They're above Man City. Look how they just talked Man United away. 3-0 win, back-to-back. What is their deal? And they've done this in December in 2 straight years. So look out for that game, and that'll be another tough game for the Fulham boys. But if players are going to shine and rise from their clubs, it's going to be Iwobi and Calvin Bassey for Fulham. Ndidi is still currently injured and is expected back in January. And to be honest, I'm kind of happy for him because if he had to play in that shit show against Wolverhampton, Van Nistelrooy is already on the clock, man. It's all well and good being a Prem legend in terms of being a great striker, but boy oh boy, Leicester literally part like the Red Sea. Wolverhampton's new manager bounce was in full effect, but best believe Leicester aided them to a massive degree. Honestly, Wolves just... Anyway, Leicester are shit. That's the whole point. And thankfully, Ndidi's injured at the moment, so we'll see if he can help them when he comes back in January. As for the Southampton boys, Aribo played 84 minutes, and Onuachu returned from his injury and played 17 minutes as Southampton unfortunately bowed out of the Carabao Cup in the quarterfinal stage, losing 2-1 to Liverpool, which, to be honest, nothing to be ashamed about. Liverpool are the best team in England, Europe, and probably the world right now, based on the performances in the Premier League and the Champions League. So, you know, you charge that one to the game. And then also on Sunday, they were both involved in a 0-0 draw against Fulham. The good news is Aribo started this game as well, while Onuachu came on stoppage time. So I keep saying, at least Aribo is starting Premier League games, which is positive for me. Another positive for me is he also started this game under the new manager. You know, I mean, the new manager was in the stadium, but the fact that the caretaker manager still selected Aribo to start shows that he must be in favor, and let's hope they could get into the good books of the new manager once Ivan Juric starts properly over this week. So we'll see how they get on Thursday, and if Aribo continues in the starting lineup. I also think Onuachu should be given a chance. I mean, when you look at Adam Armstrong's form, it's not like he's necessarily pulling up any trees. Adam Armstrong is the classic case of too good for the championship, but a very bummy Premier League striker. So please get the big man Onuachu in there and let's see how he performs. Next up for Southampton, they play West Ham United on Boxing Day, 4 p.m. kickoff as well. And then they play Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park on Sunday in another 4 p.m. kickoff. So hopefully we can see Southampton finally put some more points on the board, because boy oh boy, they need it. At this point in time, they are definitely going down. Other results to be aware about in the Premier League. I mean, an early kickoff on Saturday, we saw Aston Villa put Man City to the sword. 2-1 win, and it's always nice when an academy graduate scores against the team that let him go. So shout out to Morgan Rogers. Even Man City's one goal was a consolation goal by Phil Foden. Best believe this was his first goal of the season. So you English media that like to prop up Phil Foden, I don't want to say the reasons why you do that, but I haven't seen criticism at all. But if it's certain players, we will not hear the end of this world. So do the needful. But anyway, shout out to Aston Villa, and Man City, long may continue slotting it out in the doldrums. And I hope they continue this next year. In fact, 115 charges, come. Let them just keep going down and down and down. Hopefully, let's see how that goes. West Ham drew 1-1 with Brighton. This was a very good game. We also saw Newcastle beat Ipswich Town 4-0 away. Alexander Isak, oh my God, you make me dream. You got that number 14 shirt in the back of your shirt. I mean, you're a bit lanky, you know, you're black, you can run to an extent, and you got technique for days. If you ask me, the world is telling you to come somewhere where you could, you know, build on the legacy of a certain number 14. So let's see how that happens in the summer. But excellent performance from Isak. I mean, he's in absolutely unbelievable form right now, and honestly, Newcastle look really good. Also, shout out to Darryl Murphy. He's been really cooking this season, especially the last 3 games. I think he's got 6 goal contributions in 3 games. So I may just give him a cheeky punt in my FPL, but let's see, especially now that Saka is injured. Other games to be aware about: Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 5-1. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but let's just say Jesus is the reason for this season in Christmas, and Gabriel Jesus has somehow found some new lease of life that's just switched him up into another dimension. So long may it continue, especially now that Saka has torn his hamstring and is going to be out for 2 months. Lord knows we're going to need some blessings from Jesus. So please, long may it continue. On Sunday, we saw Everton hold Chelsea to a 0-0 draw at Goodison Park. I mean, trying to look at positives here as an Arsenal fan, Everton drew with us in our own stadium, so it doesn't exactly make me happy that Chelsea drew away, but we'll take it. As I said already, Man United got thumped 3-0 by Bournemouth. Man United are really ass, man. I can't even lie. But based on my age and growing up when Alex Ferguson and Wenger were around, there's no team I enjoy seeing fail more than Manchester United. So long may it continue. I was hoping for some Amorim big manager bounce. We haven't seen it. You know, everyone's giving caveats. They say Arsenal are the team with excuses. Man United, I just see suffering. To the point that the manager's giving a press conference and the roof is leaking. So long may that continue anyway, bombs. And then, of course, in the game of the round, Liverpool absolutely destroyed Tottenham. I mean, at this point, what do we have to say about Tottenham? Last year, they celebrated finishing 5th and not making the Champions League because they didn't want their rivals to win the Premier League. And they have this weird, useless mentality that just continues to sip in. And it never changes. I'm telling you, Tottenham is the history of the Tottenham. Chiellini was not joking. They've not won a league title since the 60s for a reason. They've not won a trophy since 2008, and that was a League Cup trophy. Literally, since the year 2000, they have not won anything of any significance in football. Yet, they claim, and they've had players like Harry Kane. How can you lose 6-3 at home? Even the 6-3 flatters them a little bit. Liverpool were 5-1 ahead after 60 minutes. This was an absolute flogging. So shout out to Liverpool. You're the best team in the land right now, and continue to prove us all wrong. Some of us doubters here or there, you know. And it's looking ominous at the moment. But the season's still long. We've got, what, 21 more games to go for most teams. Liverpool have 22 games. So let's see how everybody shapes up between now and the end of the season. Fixtures to be aware about over the festive period. As I said, you know, the Christmas bonanza is here to watch football. So on Boxing Day, make sure you tune into your TV sets at 1:30 p.m. Nigeria time. Manchester City host Everton at the Etihad Stadium. This should be an interesting game because, as I said, Everton have got 5 clean sheets in their last 6 games. So this is by no means a walkover. I mean, Man City have what? They've not won. They've won 1 game in 12 games. So, I mean, you'd think they should win, but you just never know. I mean, Newcastle Aston Villa is also on in the 4 p.m. kickoff. That should be a tasty game at St. James's Park. Nottingham Forest then host Bommy Spurs at 4 p.m. as well. It's like the Premier League fixture gods were cooking this week, you know. Bournemouth also hosts Crystal Palace, fresh off thrashing Man United 3-0 away. Crystal Palace fresh off being thrashed twice by Arsenal, so that should be interesting to watch. Although Ismail Assar looks like he's beginning to cook, which is good to see. Chelsea hosts Fulham in the West London derby, as I mentioned. Southampton hosts West Ham at St Mary's. Hopefully they could get some points on the board on Thursday. And then Wolverhampton hosts Man United. I have no idea how this game is going to go on Thursday evening. Wolverhampton, new manager bounce. They thrashed Leicester 3-0. Solid flogging. Man United just got thrashed. We don't know what's going to happen there. And then Matthias Cunha, we're still not sure if he's going to be banned or not. I hope not because of my FPL. But if I was to predict, I'll say Wolves are going to beat Man United. But you never know what's going to happen with Man United. So let's just see how this one goes. And also on Thursday, 9 p.m. kickoff Nigeria time, Liverpool hosts Leicester City. No need to talk too much about this game. It's going to be a whitewash. Let's just say 5-0. Anything less, let's see, just thank the stars. And then on Friday, we've got 2 games on. Brighton hosts Brentford at the Amex Stadium. I think this should be a very good game for the neutrals. 2 very progressive teams that are doing well. You know, they're the envy of a lot of clubs in the Premier League when it comes to the way that they run their transfer activity or they build their squads. So I'm hoping we can see a very tasty tie there. And then Arsenal, we're going to see how our team can perform without our star boy. We play Ipswich Town on Friday in a 9:15 kickoff. I mean, talk about bad odds. Although they say Arsenal fans give excuses, so I'm going to shut up. But obviously, you wish Saka was going to play when you play Ipswich Town. But anyway, there should be enough firepower to get the job done. And I hope Arteta, please go and buy somebody in January. I'm begging you. Nitori Olorun, thank you. Other fixtures to be aware about because, like I said, bumper football weekend. After Friday, we all get a break on Saturday, December 28th, and then back-to-back football. So on Sunday, 3:30 kickoff in Nigeria, Leicester City hosts Manchester City. I mean, if Man City don't win that game, then really and truly, man, it'd be like, say, Sheikh Mansour has to look at Pep and start thinking of how he's going to sack him because Leicester City are really rubbish. As for Everton, they host Nottingham Forest at Goodison Park at 4 p.m. kickoff. That should be an interesting game. Crystal Palace hosts Southampton at 4 p.m. as well on Sunday. Tottenham hosts Wolverhampton at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 4 p.m. I mean, I know Wolves have won there a few times in recent seasons, so fingers crossed they could do the same for 11th place Tottenham. Fulham hosts Bournemouth at Craven Cottage, while West Ham will be hosting Liverpool at 6:15 p.m. on Sunday. On Monday, we would then see Ipswich Town host Chelsea in a late kickoff, and Aston Villa hosts Brighton at Villa Park, same time. There's also one more game on Monday, which will be Manchester United hosting Newcastle at Old Trafford. For some reason, even though there's no football on Tuesday the 31st, Arsenal, we've been given enough time to prepare, and we're going to play on New Year's Day, January 1st, again, away against Brentford. Now, Brentford are one of those teams people think Arsenal struggle to beat, but if you look at the record, we've beaten them every time except the first time we played them when they got promoted to the Premier League. So hopefully it will be a bit more of the same, but make no mistake, this will be a tough game. But I watched Nottingham Forest put them to the sword the other day, and Ola Aina was exceptional. So I'm hoping that my boys could do the same. And then finally, in terms of the table, I mean, Liverpool are ramping to victory. 39 points so far for 16 games. All season, they've literally dropped 9 points. They got the best goal difference in the league. They've won 12 out of 16 games, and they have a game in hand at Goodison Park. They don't even have to play that game while Everton were at form. You don't know where Everton are going to be when that game is going to be scheduled for. Chelsea, after their draw away against Everton, remain second, but just 2 points ahead of Arsenal in third place. And then Nottingham Forest round up the top four. Fifth and sixth, we've got Bournemouth and Aston Villa, both on 28 points. And then Manchester City have 27 points just after them, with Newcastle 1 point below Man City with 26 points. Fulham and Brighton then round up the top 10 with 25 points each. And, I mean, let me know if you laugh. The team I hate the most, Manchester United, 13th place. My team's biggest rivals, Tottenham, 11th place. Long may it continue. This is the season of fisting. And as an Arsenal fan, I could be happier if we were first. Best believe I'm happy seeing them down in the doldrums in 11th and 13th respectively. And long may that continue. So that's it in terms of the Premier League. And then moving on to Serie A. You know, this is my favorite league in terms of Nigerian players. Our players always do well. First position, African Footballer of the Year. Over the weekend, he got to present his title to the Bergamo fans and show off his award. Ademola Lookman was initially rested for the Coppa Italia game last week Wednesday. They beat Cesena 6-1. Coppa Italia game, so it didn't really count considering his level. But over the weekend, Atalanta keep rolling. They won their 11th straight Serie A game. 3-2 at home against Empoli. Empoli put up a good fight in this game, to be honest. But Lookman scored the second goal to make it 2-1 for Atalanta. Very, very good finish as well. I mean, just imagine the kind of confidence that Lookman is playing with right now. Like, in your wildest dreams, you became the African Footballer of the Year. You know, you won the Europa League last year. You go to the AFCON final. Your team is currently first in Serie A. You're doing all right in the Champions League. Like, life is fucking fantastic, it has to be said. You know, and his confidence just keeps continuing to grow, and long may that continue. So, eventually, Charles de Ketelaere, fantastic footballer, he scored the winner for Atalanta in 84th minute to seal the victory 3-2. Next up for them, they play fellow title hopefuls Lazio. Lazio, this will be on Saturday, 8:45 p.m. kickoff at the Stadio Olimpico. Speaking of Lazio, on Saturday, this Dele-Bashiru was benched for their game as they beat Lecce 2-1 on Saturday. So, I mean, we know with Lazio, it's always topsy-turvy when it comes to them playing Fisayo. So, let's just see what happens there. But they're doing all right in the league. You know, they got thrashed 6-0 by Inter the last week. A week ago, but at least they bounced back to win the game and they remain fourth in the league. So next up for them, obviously they play Atalanta, so let's see how that game goes. As for Chukwueze and AC Milan, Omar, these guys are just disgraceful, man. They did beat Verona 1-0, let me not even cap like they lost. He played 70 minutes, which is good to see. You know, since the Pulisic injury, he's been playing a lot more games as expected. But next up for AC Milan, they play Roma at home at San Siro on Sunday. That's going to be a tough game. And honestly, I don't even know who's going to win that one because both teams, they seem to have like really shaky patches of form. At least judging by the seasons they've had so far in Serie A this year. Moving on to the Bundesliga, Nathan Tella started yet again as Leverkusen beat Freiburg 5-1. They've now won 8 straight games on the bounce in all competitions and they're looking like they're the Leverkusen of last season. You know, yes, they're a few points behind Bayern Munich, but you could tell that they're going to take Bayern Munich all the way to the end of this title race. And in great news, Boniface is back training. But the good thing is, Bundesliga, they get a Christmas break. So no football for anybody in Bundesliga between now and January, which is why we saw Victor Boniface at Obi's house yesterday enjoying himself, as he rightfully should. As for Orban, Frank Onyeka played 45 minutes, but Orban were awful. I mean, like, disgraceful. I mean, shocking. They lost 5-1 to Holstein Kiel on Saturday. And honestly, when you lose 5-1 to a newly promoted side, you have to look yourself in the eyes and face the mirror. What the hell is that? As for Kevin Akpoguma, his team lost yet again. It seems to be a theme for them, to be honest, this season. They just cannot handle the pressure of playing in Europe and playing in the Bundesliga. The good news is Akpoguma played all 90 minutes. The bad news is they lost 2-1 to Mönchengladbach on Saturday. But hopefully they can use this break to really take the time to look themselves in the mirror and make some better decisions when it comes to their football team and how they perform. In La Liga, Uche played 90 minutes for Getafe, but they did lose 1-0 to Real Mallorca on Saturday. It's not looking good for them at all, man. They're 17th. Bordelas, can you wake up? I mean, this was a team that started the season relatively okay-ish, but it's not looking good at all at the moment. but they also get a bit of a break. So hopefully they can use this time to really like recover, you know, just get some more joy back into the system, get their fitness up, and they go again in January when La Liga resumes. Iheanacho, no need to talk too much, he was on the bench. Sevilla lost 4-2 to Real Madrid. Mbappe looks like he's getting back to the Mbappe we remember. No other story there, but you know, we wish him well. As for Omar Sadiq, same story, on the bench. I always tell you, La Liga and Nigerian players don't seem to be our best hunting ground at all. People would argue, but it's the honest truth, man. Look at the record of our players over the past 5 years there. Thank God for Chukwueze's spell at Villarreal, but it's not looking good, bruv. But anyway, they get a break, so let's see what goes on. In Ligue 1, Ilenikhena was a late substitute for Monaco in their 4-2 loss to PSG on Wednesday in the league. However, on Sunday, he played 72 minutes as well. But more importantly, scored a goal in their 4-1 win over Le Union Saint-Jean in the French Cup. Also, the French League will be going on a break, so everybody but the Premier League as usual, but I'm not complaining, to be honest. As for Osayi-Samuel, Nantes remained 14th, but he was not in the squad as they beat Drancy 4-0 on Saturday in the French Cup. He was probably being rested because, I'm sorry, senior man like Osayi-Samuel is even doing a favor playing for Nantes, to be honest, because his talent is clearly better than them. You can't be playing games against like Division 4 teams. It's not right, you know. Osho, he on the other hand played 90 minutes for Auxerre as they lost to Dunkerque. I'm pretty sure that team might not even be in the 2nd division in France. Shame, 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 Auxerre. You're 9th in the Liga, you're losing to a team like that. That's shocking behavior. Even worse though, Akko Adams and Montpellier. Oh my lord. Akko Adams played 90 minutes as Montpellier lost 4-0 to Le Puy. Le Puy are 16th in the 4th division in France. Yes, you heard that correctly. That's not wrong. They lost to a team that's in the 4th division. That's like Southampton losing to like a team in League 2 in England. I don't care how bad Southampton are. They cannot lose 4-0 to a team in League 2 in England. But in positive news, they are bye-bye for the season till next year. They're also bottom of Ligue 1, so it's safe to say that nothing is going well over there at the moment. Moving on to the non-top 5 leagues, starting with Turkey as usual. Victor Osimhen was back to his exhilarating best. Wonderful to see. Played 86 minutes, scored 2 goals for Galatasaray in their 5-1 win over Kayserispor, and was just a general nuisance in this game. Like, honestly, he just bullied the whole team. I mean, we know Turkey's not his level, so that should not be that surprising. But still, you still have to deliver and show what is. So great to see that from our star man. Osayi-Samuel, on the other hand, he also played 82 minutes in a 1-1 draw for Fenerbahce against Sport on Friday. They remain 2nd, but they're not going to catch Galatasaray, in my humble opinion. I did see him at Sellers Park in the Arsenal 5-1 win over Crystal Palace, though. I don't know if that's transfer related or if he just grew up in the area, because you know he was born and raised in England. But it's not even... I know he played for QPR, but I didn't know there was any Crystal Palace link, so maybe I'm naive and I need to do some research on that. But I found that interesting. As for Anthony Nwekeme, he played 90 minutes for Trabzonspor. They beat Bodrumspor 1-0. But you know what? To be honest, we're going to stop talking about Nwekeme. It's not like he's played for Super Eagles in a long time. But good to see him still performing well. David Okoye, on the other hand, he got an assist in their 2-0 win over Antalyaspor. So pretty good to see. But they also get a break from the rest of the season. In Portugal, Bruno Guimarães played 90 minutes as Boa Vista drew 0-0 against AFC Football on Saturday. Not the best result, but next up for them, they played the big boys, Porto, away on Saturday, 9:30 p.m. kickoff. Speaking of Porto, Zedu Sanusi was not in the squad in their 3-0 win over Moreirense on Saturday. So I'm not sure what's happening there, but let's just continue to monitor because we know he was still nursing and getting back to full fitness from an injury. So let's see if he at least makes the squad for the game against Boa Vista on Saturday. In Belgium, Tolu Agadara continues to bag in the goals and show that he's a senior man. He played 90 minutes, scored a goal and got an assist as well as Genk beat Anderlecht 2-0 to remain top of the league in the Belgian First Division. Speaking of Club Brugge, on the other hand, Rafael Yedika was not in the squad as Club Brugge drew 2-2 against Union Saint-Gilloise on Sunday. But let's see if he'll be in action on Thursday because there's Boxing Day football in Belgium when they play Westerlo at home on Thursday. As for Tolu Akadare, sorry, I forgot to mention, he's going to play Royal Antwerp at home on Thursday as well. 1:30 p.m. kickoff for anyone's listening pleasure. And then Jordan Torunariga, he played 13 minutes as Ghent lost 1-0 to Lyon on Thursday in the Conference League. He then played 90 minutes in Ghent's 1-0 win over Standard Liège on Sunday. So next up for them, they play Union Saint-Gilloise at home this Thursday. In Scotland, Cyril Dessers played 10 minutes while Leon Balogun was on the bench as Rangers beat Dundee 1-0 on Saturday. Like I've said, Rangers, they need to write up this season. They've been bummy, man. Being third in the division like Scotland is the equivalent of being like 18th in the Prem, in all honesty. Considering the resources Rangers have compared to all the other useless teams in Scotland. So that's not good enough. Anyway, let's see if our boys play when they play St Mirren away on Boxing Day. And then they play Motherwell away on Sunday. Last but not the least, our South African boys were not in action, so nothing to report there. But ones to watch for the week. And I mean, we've got a bumper festive schedule for your listening pleasure. It's like Santa Claus has come with gifts in the name of football to be watched. Starting with Boxing Day. So Ola Aina and Tarawani will be in action for Nottingham Forest as they host Tottenham at their stadium in, isn't it the City Stadium? Anyway, Chelsea play Fulham at Stamford Bridge. So Alex Iwobi and Bassey will be in action in that game. And I'm sure that'll be a tasty tie. Then we'll also see Aribo and Onuachu in action for Southampton as they play West Ham United in the 4 p.m. kickoff on Boxing Day as well. On Saturday, we will then see Dele-Bashiru's Lazio host Ademola Lookman's Atalanta at the Stadio Olimpico, 8:45 p.m. kickoff Nigeria time. And if Zelusasi makes squad for Porto, they will host Bruno Yemachi's Boavista in the 9:30 p.m. kickoff. Finally, on Sunday, we will see Premier League action come back again. Ola Aina and Tarawani will play Everton at Goodison Park. Alex Iwobi and Bassey will be in action for Fulham at home against Bournemouth. We will see the Southampton boys, Aribo and Onuachu, go away to Selhurst Park to play against Crystal Palace. And then finally, in the late night game, we will see Samuel Chukwueze's AC Milan host AS Roma at the San Siro. Moving on to my favorite part of the podcast, Starboy of the Week. Bronze medal, Ademola Lookman, fresh off winning the African Footballer of the Year award and presenting it to the Bergamo faithful. He scored yet another goal. Him and Charles de Ketelaere, playing off Mario Retegui, have been instrumental for the team alongside Retegui, who's the top goal scorer in Serie A. And he scored yet again, and they've both been able to just fire their team into a 3-2 win regardless of how shaky the game was looking. So shout out to Ademola Lookman. Although Mario Retegui is injured now, so I'll be intrigued to see how Lookman and de Ketelaere are able to shoulder the workload, because Kamaka is still injured, which means they're likely to play Nicolo Zaniolo as a false nine. So look out for that one. Silver medal, Ola Aina. I mean, what can I say about this man? Second goal of the season, another clean sheet again. He's got the most points for a defender in FPL right now. And Nottingham Forest are currently 4th in the league. This is a team that's won the Champions League twice in their history, by the way. So, I mean, Heritage FC, we got to give them their credit, you know. So shout out to Nottingham Forest and Ola Aina. Gold medal, Victor Osimhen, star player, star man, Ijaya Olusosun, as everybody says, back in the starting lineup, and he scored a brace. It's his 9th league goal, which means he's joint third with Edin Dzeko, but just one goal behind Simon Banza and Igor Piatek, who both have 10 goals each. Remember, he also did not play the first few games of the season while he was finalizing the transfer. So really, we're seeing exceptional stuff, which is no surprise here with Victor Osimhen. So let him finish season strong this year, win the Turkish League, and get back to where you belong in the top 5 leagues. As for Nigerian news, Ahmed Musa scored a 91st minute winner for Kano Pillars as they beat Niger Tornadoes 2-1 in the NPFL over the weekend. In CHAN qualifiers, the Super Eagles drew with Ghana away on Saturday 0-0. The return leg will be played this Saturday. I'm not going to lie here and tell you I know whether it's going to be played in Abuja or Uyo or Teslim, but shall know that our home-based Eagles are playing on Saturday. And whether we like it or not, is against Ghana, so they better not lose. Apparently, the stadium will be in Abuja, the Moshood Abiola Stadium. They said, oh no, this is different from where that fixture is going to be. But there's reports that the stadium, the Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja, is going to be upgraded. But I think that's absolute bullshit, man. I went to the first ever game that this stadium hosted in 2003. In less than 20 years, they run that stadium to the ground. Meanwhile, you go to England and you see stadiums that have been there since the 60s. So our poor maintenance culture just gives me no hope in all this stuff that they say. So let's see if it's Zobo or if it ends up being true. But anyway, that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks again for listening with me. I know it's a bit of a long one, but you know, we have to bring this content and give you these chats, especially with the festive bumper football schedule ahead of us right now. Remember, if you're listening to this on YouTube, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Click the bell to make sure that you receive notifications whenever we drop new episodes. We're also looking at things that we could improve on to make the podcast even bigger and better in 2025. Subscribe to us on all our social media channels at Nigerian Football Weekly everywhere except on Twitter where we're at NFWPOD. I appreciate every single listener. Take care, enjoy the football, and until next time, ciao, ciao. Take care. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigerian they ever carry last.